Guys, the Candy Kingdom has many enemies, and when I capture my enemies, I lock them up forever, in prison cells within the catacombs beyond this hole. I've been locking up my enemies there for years, but now they're all escaping. I need you to venture down into the dungeon to figure out why. Because I don't know!
Adventure time! Come on, grab your friends. We'll go to very distant lands. We'll take the dog and then the human. The fun will never end. It's adventure time.
I like Adventure Time. It's one of those rare shows that manages to appeal to both adults and children. The show's pretty much one of the most imaginative things on television, with a great sense of humour. I was pretty eager to see how this translated into the video game format, having not played any of the previous games in the franchise. Unfortunately, I was sorely disappointed. Adventure Time, Explore the Dungeon Because I Don't Know, is really, really bad. The Adventure Time television series is great because of the exhaustive imagination that goes into the world, characters and plot lines. Explore the Dungeon has none of this. This is a long, repetitive, boring grind that totally ignores everything that makes the show great. This hack and slash title involves battling through 100 floors of a dungeon, fighting monsters, and collecting loot. In its simplicity, this is a game more comparable to the old Gauntlet games, rather than stuff like Diablo. A melee attack, charged melee attack, ranged attack, and the ability to block are all you get given at the start of Explore the Dungeon, and that's pretty much it for the entire game. Repetition is rampant, from the environments to the monsters. The scenery is slightly changed every 10 levels, but it never looks interesting. Considering this is based on a show that is driven by an incredible imagination, the extent to which this has been wasted is baffling. I don't mind a bit of grinding every now and then. However, the grind in Explore the Dungeon is an almost Herculaic test of endurance. It costs gold to go back to the hub world to spend your gold. If you don't want to spend all your gold while in the hub world, then tough. The game removes it all when you return to the dungeon. I found myself constantly low on gold, between the exponentially increasing costs of items, the price to return to the hub world, and the Scrooge-like reward system. It just never felt like I was getting anywhere. It wouldn't be so bad if the actual gameplay was fun, but it isn't. The combat is just too simple to hold interest for very long, and the randomised levels can make for inconsistent difficulty spikes. In general, it feels like there's very little incentive to continue. The loot never helped change up the gameplay, there's nothing interesting to see, and the plot is paper thin. The game features the show's voice actors, and they're all great, but there's really not enough of it. Most of the game is not driven by the plot or characters, just the mundane combat. Worst of all, this pile of shit costs £29.99. I've played free games on my phone with more depth, content, and better graphics. With such a great license to work with, it makes no sense to me that this game takes place in a series of nondescript rooms with none of the charm that Adventure Time is famous for. With more varied gameplay mechanics, interesting environments and a better use of the license, Adventure Time Explore the Dungeon Because I Don't Know could have been a lot of fun. It's therefore a shame that this is just a dull, repetitive grind with no personality of its own. I'm disappointed with how this game turned out and I wouldn't recommend it to anyone.
You know, I thought painting ourselves rainbow color using condiments and stuff from the fridge so we could pretend to be rainicorns was a good idea when you pitched it to me 5 minutes ago. But now I'm not so sure, man.
Adventure time! Come on, grab your friends. We'll go to very distant lands. We'll take the dog